Welcome everybody. File on in. It is time. Welcome back to another edition of the Unfiltered Podcast. I am your host. My name is Apollo. We got a full house tonight. I got some very special guests here tonight. That's right. Let the round of applause serenade your ears. We got a great show for you guys. This is our Super Bowl 55 preview show. We will also give our predictions and also dive deep into both teams and also talk about other NFL news from the week. I hope everybody had a good day. But now, without further ado, let me introduce you to my esteemed guest. Back for another round. He wants some more smoke. J-Bro is back. And also, I have a very special guest. My brother, I served with this man on the front line. We got Z in the building. Gentlemen, go ahead and say hi. I don't care. Y'all can rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first, but speak your piece.
What's up, everyone? Z in the house.
Z in the house.
Hey, everybody. Good to be back again. I took a little hiatus last week. Thank you for inviting me back, Apollo. I always have a good time with you.
Yes. I will shoot to aim. I will aim to have a guest with me every week. I don't want to do this alone. I want my buddies to do this with me because it makes it funner. And it makes it go by fast. All right, fellas. So before we get into the Super Bowl 55 predictions and we start talking about that, we had pretty much the entire week. We let it marinate over. Let's talk about this Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff trade. Z, this is your first podcast episode, so I'm gonna let you have the floor. I want you to give me what you think about the trade. Do you think who's people are winners? Do you think it was a waste of time? Like, what do you think about the trade?
Well, I think the Rams are definitely the losers. How many first-round draft picks have they given just for Goff over the years? I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
And then Matthew Stafford, he gets a team that's not bad to go into.
Yes.
And under a good head coach and good management, I think it's going to be a whole different level of play for Matthew Stafford.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that Stafford can get the Rams over the hump, or do you think he's just another game deeper in the playoffs than what Goff? Because remember, Jared Goff got them to the Super Bowl. Now, granted, they lost, but do you think Stafford can get them back?
I think Goff, we've seen it this year. He has very poor decision making, especially in very high profile games where he needs to win.
Okay.
He chokes, for lack of better words. And on the other end, Matthew Stafford has been known to drive on those last drives. You know what I mean? Last game-winning drives and stuff like that. And I think he's going to utilize the offense overall that the Rams have, because they do have a really good offense. It's just Goff never was able to truly manipulate it to make it win.
So do you think it has to be a success if they either get to the Super Bowl or they have to win the Super Bowl?
I think it's Super Bowl or bust.
Super Bowl or bust? Do they have to win, or can they just get there and let's say Stafford plays good and maybe Jalen Ramsey or the defense gets beat, but Stafford plays, I mean, as perfect as he can play. Do we hold that against him?
No, I think that if Stafford gets them to the point of the Super Bowl, it will prove that all of those wasted picks for Goff, trading all those years of first draft picks just to acquire him and then to trade him away. And I think that's going to be a huge thing for Stafford himself, and it's going to add to his legacy.
True. Jay, bro, what are your thoughts on the trade? Do you think that it's Super Bowl or bust for the Rams? And what do you think Jared Goff brings to the Lions? I mean, probably the worst ran franchise next to the Jets in the league. Like, what's your thoughts on this?
I think the Rams totally got fleeced in this deal. And really the only way they can be a winner is if they literally win the Super Bowl in the next few years with Stafford, because they really traded for an older quarterback who, by all accounts, people rate higher than Jared Goff. But is he that much more of an upgrade than Goff? It's debatable, but I don't think he is. So really what the Rams gave up, the 2 first-round picks and their above average starting quarterback to good starting quarterback for Matthew Stafford, they have to go for it all. They have to win it.
Yeah.
But it makes it tougher not having that draft equity. They have to go chase free agents, and hopefully they get a steal somewhere in the mid rounds of the draft, which is really hard to predict. So I think they're in a tough predicament. And I don't see that they're going to get to the point where they can even reach the Super Bowl. I think when they got to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, it was a lot of McVay magic.
True.
With Goff. And that was probably the best Goff version we may ever see. And maybe he'll regain a little bit of that touch with the Lions, but that was a magical season. I don't think they can duplicate that even with a better quarterback, because other than, Stafford, who else do they have to throw the ball to? They don't really have many weapons on the offensive side of the ball. So, I mean, they've got the players on defense and they've got the best defensive player in the game. But, if you're going to give up that kind of, draft picks you've got to get a top 5 quarterback, and Stafford's not top 5.
Do you think the Lions can build around Goff? Because he is much younger, so he has time. Because we know these days NFL teams, they don't want to wait anymore. I mean, and especially seeing the success of Patrick Mahomes and hell, Lamar Jackson. Josh Allen, 3rd year, turned it around. Look what he did. These quarterbacks are turning it around so fast. It's that they're spoiling these owners. And Goff himself, he got the Rams to Super Bowl in his 3rd, 4th year? And he didn't stay at that consistent level. Do you think the Lions are willing to build around Goff? Or do you think they'll just keep him until maybe the next college phenomenon quarterback comes along and they draft him? Like, what do you think?
I don't think he's a placeholder. I think he's someone that they're going to end up building around. He's still really young. Like you said, I think next year would be his 5th year. He's 26 years old.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks nowadays are playing until they're about 40. Look at Drew Brees and Tom Brady being 43. So, he has a long window to keep playing at a high enough level. I think they're going to end up building around Goff. And with the picks that they're going to get from the Rams the next couple of years, they definitely have, the ability to put pieces around him. So I see him as a building block. They just got a new GM in there and a new head coach, former Cowboy Dan Campbell in there. So I think they'll end up building around Goff. So you're shaking your head there, Apollo. Sorry, I had to throw that one in there.
Is Jared Goff going to bite kneecaps?
Jared Goff is going to bite off all the kneecaps.
After he gets sacked? I was like, I had never heard a press conference so ridiculous.
That was inspiring, though. I mean, it was ridiculous, but in the moment, I was like, damn, he's got me wanting to go play.
Yeah, I mean, he's down to get grimy, and I like that, but it's just that biting kneecaps on the way up. Like, of all the, like, you could have said, I don't know, we're going to punch him in the dick or something. No, we got to bite their kneecaps. Like, it's COVID, bro, COVID.
And he's just saying, we'll get stomped on once, we'll get it bite your kneecap. We'll get stomped on twice, and we'll bite your other kneecap. It's like, why do you keep getting stomped on? I mean, I know y'all are the Lions, but eventually y'all got to be the one doing the stomping, right?
Here's another thing. They're wearing knee pads. You're going to raise his knee pad and bite his kneecap? Or can you just punch him in the dick? Anyway, I'm sorry. I know that's like very corny. I just think that's hilariously funny. Here's my thing. Here's what I think. I think both teams are losers. I think the Rams are losers because what has Matthew Stafford proven? Now, granted, he has been in Detroit. Detroit has tarnished 2 of the greatest players at their position, easily top 5, and Barry Sanders and Megatron. That organization, the last time they won a playoff game, our parents weren't even born. Because I think the last playoff game they won was in 62? Early 60s, right? My dad was born in 66. So it's been a long time since the Lions have done a damn thing. And unlike our Cowboys, I know it's been a while for us, but still it's been soon enough for relevancy. But the Cowboys, they're an attraction. They're Hollywood. Detroit is just Detroit. They don't have a star power, even though they had 2 of the greatest players at their position of all time. They don't have an attraction. But I feel like the Rams lost because we don't know what Stafford can really do. I mean, he hasn't proven anything. He's 33. He's kind of just kind of been there. He's made one Pro Bowl his whole career. And when you look at his numbers, you're like, they're good numbers. But if you remember, Jay, bro, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Phillip Rivers. I think that's what Matthew Stafford is. He's Rivers 2.0. He's going to put up numbers. He's going to make a Hall of Fame case at the end of his career because he has numbers. But where's his signature moment?
He doesn't have one. He hasn't had a chance to because his team's been sorry the entire time he's been there. The only good player he's ever played with is Calvin Johnson.
Check this stat. So I was listening, and the stat is his record against teams over 500 is 10-66. That is horrible. If you're that dude, you got to get more than, you can at least be like 30 and 30 something, or like 40 and 50. 10-66. Wow. And he had Megatron, Golden Tate, Reggie Bush. Who was another tailback? He had Ebron at tight end. They had a decent defense. They had Darius Slay. I mean, it's not like the Lions were completely devoid of talent. They didn't win one division title with this guy. I don't even think they came close. They got to the playoffs twice. Now, that one game against the Cowboys, it was questionable. But we won, so it doesn't matter. Other than that, the Lions have not even been middle tier of a team. So it's just like, what was the trade worth? Like, you traded to get him. I'm like, okay, he has a cannon arm. I get that. But what has he done? Like, it's not like you're trading for, who's somebody I can think, it's like, I'm trying to think. I can't think of a quarterback that has like
Trubisky.
Trubisky. It's not a oh man.
I feel like it's a Warren Moon situation.
You think so? But
or Kirk Cousins. You know, like Warren Moon never won anything really.
He didn't. He just put up numbers.
Just like Kirk Cousins. You know, he may win one playoff game every few years.
Yeah, that's good. I like how you said that, Z. And as for the Lions, Jared Goff is either about to be exposed or be unleashed. I truly feel, and when I watch the Rams play, I feel like McVay's play calling with all the misdirections and the motions and the smoke and mirrors. I feel like he hid a lot of Goff's flaws. Like, we've never seen the Rams ask Goff drop back like Tom Brady or Rodgers or Mahomes, go win us the game. They've never done that. So I feel like now he's going to Detroit. He's not going to have that same kind of system. He needs to either show us that he is that dude, because he's the number 1 overall pick. When he was at Cal, they didn't run that type of offense that McVay ran. So he's got to show that he can still throw the ball effectively and win you some games. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's a loss for both. I don't see Goff. I see Goff just turning into Matthew Stafford in Detroit. He's going to put up numbers, maybe. They're not going to win much. He's just going to be there. They're going to be irrelevant. But there's another report that came out that Stafford, I don't know if you guys heard, he said, I would go to any team in the league except the Patriots. But they didn't give a reason why. Do you all think it's because of Matt Patricia, or do you think he's intimidated by going to be coached by Bill Belichick?
He doesn't want to play for Bill. He had a Bill disciple the last couple of years, and he couldn't cut it.
But that's Matt Patricia, that stupid ass pencil. That's not Bill Belichick. You know, like no, man. I know Matt Patricia probably tried to copy him, but he's not Bill Belichick. He doesn't have that cachet. So, I mean, and Matt Patricia's not even on coaching staff. He's like on the scout team to go scout people or some shit. I don't know.
Talking about a demotion.
Yeah. I didn't even realize he was back in New England until I heard the person say it, like he's on like a different thing. I'm like, what?
Yeah, this is news to me.
Yeah, it can't. It came out like yesterday or something, and then Teddy Bruschi was basically saying Stafford is soft. He's not tough enough to play New England. I'm like, you willing to play for any team in the league except New England? Like, you would go to the Jets? You would go to Jacksonville? You would go to Houston, as dysfunctional as they are? I mean, the Bengals? All these other teams, you're just like, you would play for these teams over the Patriots. Like, it's got to be more to it than that.
If he goes to any of those 4 or 5 places you listed, other than the Patriots, he's not going to be coming in with this lion's share of expectations on his back.
Pun intended.
Pun intended. With the Rams and what they gave up, yeah, there's going to be a lot of heavy expectations on him. But with the Patriots, they just came off of losing Brady. They had Cam Newton. They didn't make the playoffs for the first time in a long time. I think they were really looking towards a quarterback like Stafford to get them back to maybe winning the AFC East and really controlling that conference again. And Stafford was their only way, because now, I mean, they're not going to bring back Cam Newton. I don't know if they have. I don't know if Jared Stidham is ready to play. I don't know if they're going to draft someone or.
Stead.
They're kind of stuck right now.
What do you think, Z?
So, here's the thing with the Patriots, right? We know one thing. We know Bill Belichick is the GM and head coach.
Oh yeah, he runs that.
He does not pay players.
True.
If you are a big name contract player, he's going to kick you to the curb. Exactly what he did with Brady. And now he's starting to do with his defensive players that he's had that were stars. Look at Gilmore. He wants to cut Gilmore's contract down to $6 million. Instead of being 15 a year, he wants to cut down to 6. Then you go on to the whole thing of the Crafts, right? They rode the tailcoats of Tom Brady, right? Without Tom Brady, what has the Patriots done?
Nothing.
They were one of the worst franchises in the history of the NFL until Tom Brady showed up and started winning for them to turn their franchise around and made them into a billion-dollar franchise, right?
True.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're reaping what they sow, right? So they lost Tom Brady because they didn't want to pay him for all of his years of work, right? They said he was too old for $20 million a year. And we know he said, okay, fine. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers scooped him up real quick. Now, without Brady, you do not have the Brady factor in New England. You don't have players that want to come up there.
True.
So, and not only that, players are not willing to take that pay cut to go to New England to play for a chance to go to the Super Bowl without that chance.
I agree. Do y'all think that with Brady leaving, that Belichick just dug his own grave, and now we're about to see the downfall, and the Patriots go back to, like you said, Z, they're going to go back to obscurity? Like, if nobody's willing to come there because Bill's not going to pay them, I mean, who wants to play for New? He's going to get nothing but scrubs. New England's about to be irrelevant now. A once just proud franchise for 20 years. It's about to go from like this level here down to the bottom of the heap. Is that Belichick's fault? Or was it really all Brady that brought that Patriot way and now he's bringing it down to Tampa? I mean, and then if he wins the Super Bowl Sunday, that just really amplifies it. Like, because remember, before Brady came in, Belichick was not a winning head coach. And he kind of got his job in Cleveland because he was the D coordinator. And I'm pretty sure anybody can be a defensive coordinator when you're coaching Lawrence Taylor. Probably one of the most dominant pass rushers ever in the game. You look pretty good because he makes it look easy. I mean, you ain't got to really scheme. You just say, hey, LT, go out there and line him, go get his ass. And he go get his ass. So, I mean, do y'all think that the Patriots dynasty is about to be on the downward slope? Or is it just going to drop off a cliff?
I think we're going to have a slow decline. You still have really great defensive players. You really do. But the offense, man, they've completely imploded in on themselves. We can agree to that.
Yeah.
And you don't have like Stephon Diggs that wants to go there to get traded and, restructure his contract so that he can play with a good quarterback.
Exactly.
No, Jared Stidham, I mean.
Stead.
He's not that great of a quarterback, and I don't think he had enough time underneath Tom Brady to develop.
No. Do y'all think they would have still been decent if Belichick could have kept Jimmy G?
I mean, it's debatable. I think they would have been decent.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they'd be contending in the AFC, but Jimmy G is not even 3/4 of Tom Brady. Even at this point, I don't think. Even if he could stay healthy, he's had a lot of issues staying on the field the last 3 years. But yeah, I agree with Z. I think it's going to be a slow decline for the Patriots. And if you think about it, all the headlines, Tom Brady going back to the Super Bowl, the Bucks playing at home in their home stadium for the first time in Super Bowl history. We really should be pointing the finger at Bill and saying, hey, what are you doing here? You lost this guy. But he's kind of getting a pass, I feel like. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I
do.
The Patriots are kind of getting a pass this year, maybe because they weren't 2-14 or 3-13. They were 7-9. They were just middle of the pack. And frankly, I think they exceeded expectations with Cam Newton coming in, and he did not have a good year.
He did not. I mean, this was easily Cam's worst year. I don't think his shoulder was fully healthy. Now, granted, I know Cam has never been the most accurate quarterback, but damn.
It was bad.
A lot of the throws he was making, I was like, yo, Cam, what are you looking at? And what was that? Like, oh my God. But I think I was talking to UZ about this offline. I can't remember. If that was MVP Cam, like if you took the 2016, 2015 Cam, put him on this team, I think the Patriots can go like 10-6. Now they may still miss the playoffs, but I think they can have a winning record because they'll beat Seattle because he'll bounce it outside. Maybe if he doesn't get COVID and miss those 2 games, he probably wins you 1. I mean, MVP Cam will win you a couple of games. You won 7 with beat up, washed up Cam. I think you could get another 3 games out of him with MVP Cam, and you get your 10 wins. But we're gonna move on. But before we get to our Super Bowl predictions, I need the chief of the Patrick Mahomes hate club, my man Z. I need you to explain to the audience, why do you hate the Chiefs so much? And more than less, why do you hate Patrick Mahomes and that curly hair? The floor is yours, my brother.
So first, before we start anything, Bills Mafia. I'm just gonna state that real quick, right? Grew up and born and raised in Buffalo.
Wait, who's the better quarterback right now, Mahomes or Allen?
Allen has the higher ceiling.
I said right now, who's the better quarterback?
Allen has a higher ceiling. Mahomes has weapons, man. Let's be real. Let's be honest.
You got Stephon Diggs. But that's just one, though. That's just one. You're right, though. You're right. But go ahead.
So I think that if we would have seen any quarterback in the draft that Mahomes was in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that we would have seen a very similar developed quarterback. Maybe not as splashy, as fun, as crazy to watch. I'm like, oh, did he really do that? But you've got people like Tyreek Hill. He had the running back. I'm trying to think of his name.
Alvin Kamara?
Yeah. No, was it Alvin Kamara for the? No. It was the guy who's at the Browns now.
Oh, Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
And then you had Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
And then you had the best offensive line in the NFL coming in, and you took over for a decent quarterback in Alex Smith, and I feel like if he didn't have, Andy Reid as a head coach, maybe we'd see a whole different player. What if he went to the Patriots, or the 49ers or any other team, right? I think we'd see a different Patrick Mahomes. And I feel like the team around him that was built around him or was already put in place for a previous quarterback, he took the saddle and he ran with it. And I feel like in the next few seasons, we'll see a decline only because he's going to start losing those players due to the way that his contract is structured.
I can taste the salt in that argument.
It's salty over here.
It's salty, man. Oh, man. Can you just agree that Mahomes is he's a talented quarterback? Can you at least say
Hey,
that?
he's a talented quarterback.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. He is a talented quarterback.
Okay.
I just
He didn't say anything that I thought wasn't partially true. He didn't back it up with
True.
opinion. You know, he based a lot of facts on it. So I can't say that it's true hate. I mean, he may be hating a little bit, but I see his points. So I'm not on board, but
You're right.
I mean, he's not like Stephen A up in here.
You're right. This brother's on another level. Anyway,
It's preposterous.
Preposterous. I agree. If you give, God. Josh Allen has just a stronger arm as Mahomes. If you give him Tyreek Hill and Kelsey with his size, oh my goodness. Yeah, I think it's just as good. I mean, Hill and Kelsey aren't going anywhere the next couple years.
Mm-mm.
I mean, unless they get hurt, which knock on wood. I hope they don't get hurt. But other than that offense is pretty much intact. The defense is going to shuffle around, but they got their offense locked up for the next couple of years. But that being said, gentlemen, final game of the season is Sunday. It is time for the Super Bowl. It's time for us to give our picks, what we think is going to happen in the game, who we think is going to be the X factor, and what can we expect going into the offseason like. Do we think if Brady... So we're going to start with Tampa Bay. So I'm going to just go out and say it first. If the Bucks win, does Brady retire? Or does he say, screw it, I want number 8? What do y'all think?
Number 8.
You're straight up. You're just like, number 8. No hesitation.
That chip on his shoulder is large, man. He wants to be the best.
Gisele's going to divorce him. He's going to come home one day from winning the game, and the papers are going to be on his pillow. Or they're going to serve him in the middle of the game on the sideline or something. Like,
he's worth too much money, man. Worth too much money.
She has way more money than him. She has way more. She is
she's the breadwinner.
Yeah. That's why he took all those pay cuts. Shit.
Yeah, he can afford to.
Yeah, he can afford to. She over there got the bread. What do you think, Jay, bro? Do you think Brady walks off into the sunset, or does he come back for number 8?
I honestly think he comes back no matter what. Even if he wins on Sunday, I think he's coming back again. Well, I think it's more than just the winning for him. I think he wants to prove that he can play until he's 45, 46, 47 even. You know, he wants to be the ageless wonder. And so far, he has been to a degree. I mean, he's playing better than any other 43-year-old quarterback off the top of my head.
But why, though? What does he have to prove? People already think he's the GOAT.
People like him, people like Kobe Bryant, people like Michael Jordan, who are uber competitive.
Yeah.
The littlest things can set them off. They're not wired like the rest of us, you know. There's something crazy in his mind that is keep pushing him, and more power to him. He's still, you know, leading teams to the Super Bowl, even teams he just joined this year. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think he's driven to keep playing until he feels he can't play anymore, which he's not there yet.
I agree. So, who do y'all think Tampa Bay needs to show up to make sure? Like, we know Tom Brady's going to be Tom Brady, whether that's throwing for 100 something yards, or 300 yards. Tom Brady will do what he needs to do to try to win. So Brady, I'm not worried about whether he throws 1 pick, 0 picks, 5 picks. Brady will be Brady. Who else? Because this is new for the rest of that team, outside of Gronk. Who else needs to show up for y'all in order for Tampa Bay to have success and actually win this game? I personally think Mike Evans needs to show up. He doesn't need to pull the Green Bay and get lost in the moment. Mike Evans, you're 6'5", you're 230, you're unstoppable, whether you realize it or not. You are unguardable. Show up. That's all you gotta do. If Mike Evans catch a couple of those passes in the Green Bay game, it's a blowout. Tampa Bay blows Green Bay out the water. So for me, Mike Evans, I think he needs to show up. Now, it's up to Brady whether he gets him the ball like that. But I think Mike Evans needs to get 8 to 10 catches, 100+ yards. He needs to get a touchdown or two. I mean, he definitely needs a touchdown or two in the red zone because that's where he's the most dangerous because he's such a big target. We saw him in the Green Bay game. You just put it in a spot where he can box out the defender and get it. I mean, you just can't stop it. But who do y'all think needs to step up in Tampa Bay?
I'm going to say it. Devin White, man. Defensive side, man.
Yo, that dude's a monster.
Young guy, but look at how disruptive he is.
He's a monster.
On the inside. You know, I mean, he made Aaron Rodgers look like a rookie quarterback.
Like a bitch.
Well, seriously, I mean, he threw, what was it, 2 picks that game? Right to him. I mean, he looked right at him and threw him. Like, he looked directly at him, and he was like, here. So, I think that's the player. He's going to come up. I don't think Patrick Mahomes ever has experienced a disruptive player like him because he's a one-of-a-kind super talent.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's who's going to show up, and I think that he's going to get a pick or two, and I think that's going to be the entire game difference for Tampa Bay.
Okay. That's a good take. Jay, bro?
I think for Brady to get the ball to Mike Evans, I really think that either one of, or really ideally both, Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette have to show up. You know, they have to give Kansas City a reason to fear the run, because if he's able to do play action and, you know, have a little bit more time to throw, or have a little bit bigger of a window to get Mike Evans the ball, I mean, game over. Like you said, if Mike Evans can get 10 catches, I think it's over, because I think this is going to be a high scoring game. I think, you know, it's going to be whoever has the ball last kind of situation is going to win this game.
Okay, I agree. And with your high scoring, I think this game will be. Y'all remember that game a couple years ago on Monday night between the Rams and the Chiefs? It's like 55-45. I think that's what we're looking for, which if that's – usually I'm a defensive guy. I'm like, man, I want to see a lot of defense, hard hitting. I want to see some points dropped on Sunday. I want excitement. This has been the most awkward year ever because of COVID. I want to see some excitement. I want to see Mahomes and Brady throw for like 900 yards combined. I want like 10 touchdowns combined. I want points on the board. I want highlight plays. I want all that. And speaking of that, highlights, we're going to move over to the Chiefs. Now, we know Mahomes has to show up. But it's obvious on the Chiefs side, those offensive tackles who are filling in, they got to show up. They got to block JPP. They got to block Shaq Barrett. But do y'all think Andy Reid has a game plan to counter that? Because me personally, I think in order to counter that pass rush, because I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball, just line up and run it. I think they need to do a lot of screens. They need to make JPP and Shaq Barrett think. When the ball is snapped, they need to move and stop and like think. And that split second is all Mahomes needs to try to find either Hill or Kelsey. Watkins will be back. Hardman. I mean, you guys, it's literally Madden. Mahomes is going to have a controller. Whichever icon lights up, he's going to throw it to him. I think they need to make it to where those pass rushers just, for a split second, think. Or if they do rush, they over pursue, and maybe they run a draw, and Edwards-Helaire gets 15. And then the next play, they don't come as much. Mahomes has time to throw. Boom, 75 yards, Tyreek Hill down the field, touchdown. That's what I think the Chiefs have to do to win. So I don't think it's necessarily one person that has to step up. I think it's those tackles and how Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy are going to call the game. Now, for y'all, what do y'all have on Kansas City? Who needs to step up for them?
I'll let you go first.
I think Tyreek Hill, I mean, he's not really an X factor, but I think he really is going to dictate what Kansas City does on offense. I would expect them to throw a few screens his way and hope they get him in open field because that man's a blur.
Do you think they'll double him?
Not to start, no.
Because here's how I think they'll counter the double. If they double him, Tyreek Hill, he'll motion 30,000 times before the ball is snapped.
Yeah.
If you're doubling him and he's in motion, he's already got kind of a head start. He takes 2 steps, he's full speed. If the ball is snapped and he's like motioning and he runs, like he's just going to run away from you. So it's like, I don't know what defense Tampa Bay can play, because if you blitz, if it's a man blitz, good luck running with Tyreek. If it's a zone blitz, Kelsey's going to find the open space, and I don't think you're going to get to Mahomes fast enough. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just
Well, plus if you blitz, I mean, getting Mahomes out of the pocket's great, but he's better out of the pocket. You kind of
Exactly.
almost want him staying in the pocket.
And he's
As
like
crazy as that sounds.
he's like a video game. He can drop back 15 yards and still bomb it 50 yards down the field.
Yeah, that's
on
how
the
he used to
dime.
play in Madden 05.
Exactly. He does that. So it's like, what do you do? I don't know what Tampa Bay does because they don't have the corners to cover Tyreek Hill because we've seen Tyreek Hill literally outrun a double team and Mahomes hit him on the dime. So I don't know what they're gonna do, but Z, what do you think? What's your game plan for the Chiefs to win?
Really, I think that Andy Reid is the X factor really for this game.
Yeah.
Realistically, I think the game plan is to get a 2-score at all times. Have a 2-score game in front of the Tampa Bay. The reason I say 2-score, Tom Brady is a second half quarterback. True. He always has been.
Yeah.
And they do not want an embarrassment like the Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl against the Patriots, where Tom Brady came back from a 31-3.
True.
And came and just destroyed them at the end. And I think that's what we may see, me personally, but I think that it all depends on the schemes. You know, Andy Reid's going to drop some crazy screens and like you said, actioning Tyreek Hill multiple times in one snap. Yeah. You know, and on that flip side, Mahomes has to throw a fastball. He has a tendency to do that hanger where it's just a light touch and it just barely goes over the defense. And it's great for Tyreek Hill, but down the field bombing it. But if he tries to do it to Travis Kelce, I think that's where you're going to have the flip side where it's going to get intercepted.
I think the Bucks, I almost said Patriots because of Tom Brady. I think the Bucks, they cannot let the Chiefs get out to an early 2-score lead. Because if the Chiefs get out to an early, just to say 2 possession, it could be 10 points. If the Chiefs get out to an early 2-possession lead, now you just took Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones out the game, which means you take away Tom Brady's play action. That hurts the Buccaneers. If Tom Brady and the Bucks, I think everyone's talking about all these X factors, blah, blah, blah. The Buccaneers, they want to win. I don't even want to say this because you can't say you got to keep Mahomes on the bench because he can come in and they'll score in one play and then you're just like, well, we just held the ball for 10 minutes for nothing. He comes in one play, 15 seconds, boom, he scores. They need to convert. They can't do like the Bills did. I'm sorry to bring it up, Z. They can't do like the Bills. They cannot kick field goals. They have to score. And I don't mean they cannot, if the Bucks win, they cannot punt the ball more than 2 times. They cannot punt more than 2 times. Because Kansas City, even with weak tackles, they could run so many quick screens and just gadget plays. You're just like, it's just too hard to stop. Now, granted, Devin White is a freak of nature. But he ain't Tyreek Hill fast. He ain't nowhere near that fast. And if you let Tyreek Hill, we see if he gets open space, it's over. You better hope he steps out of bounds or something. Or he steps on a banana peel or something.
Or he trips.
Yeah, he trips because he's running so fast he just forgets where he's at.
Who was at that tripped earlier this year? Was it Nick Foles?
No, that was
Who was it? Who was that in open space?
Daniel Jones.
That was right.
He had the touchdown. He just oh my God, he fell. God. He was so excited to score. He didn't score. He forgot to score. But with that being said, so we stated who we think needs to win in all this. What is y'all's guys' final score? What's the prediction?
I'll let Z go first.
Go ahead.
Realistically, I think it's going to be a touchdown. So whoever the winner is, I think it's going to be by a touchdown. I don't think there's going to be a lot of field goals
What's your
picked
score?
in this. I predict 28-35 Tampa Bay.
That is low. Wow, okay. All right. Jay, bro?
Yeah, I'm taking, I guess, a little bit of an opposite approach. I think it's going to be 42-38.
Yeah. But
Did Z pick his winner?
Yeah, who you pick to win?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay? Okay, Tampa Bay. Okay.
I've got KC.
KC. And you said what, 42-38?
42-38.
I got Kansas City winning. Call me crazy. I got Kansas City winning. 50-48.
Okay, that's a little out there.
Dude, this is going to be a shootout. It will be no defense played.
And Super Bowls historically have been lower scoring,
True.
even in the last 5, 6, 7 years.
I don't see this one being low scoring. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I'm like 50-48. I feel like each quarterback will throw a pick or two. Honey Badger's going to get him an interception. He's going to get him one or some kind of turnover.
Fumble probably.
Yeah, fumble probably. Mahomes, he'll get. I think Devin White's going to get Mahomes. Mahomes is not going to. He's not going to respect. I don't know. He's not going to see White coming. He's going to throw it somewhere, probably to Kelsey, and Devin White's just going to, out of nowhere, just come and pick it. So I see each quarterback throwing a pick or two. I see Fournette rushing for like maybe 70 yards. I think Brady would throw for like 300 something, a couple of touchdowns. I see Mahomes throwing for like 4 and maybe 5, couple of touchdowns. But I see a shootout. Tyreek Hill is going to get at least 150 receiving yards. Bet. I guarantee. If I was a betting man, I'm putting money that Tyreek Hill gets at least. Okay, let me not say 150 receiving. Let me say,
I would say maybe 125 is a better bar.
I would say 150 total. And that includes him running like a reverse, catching a screen, maybe a short pass and go. They may put him on punt return just for the shits and giggles. 50-48, man. It's gonna be a shootout. I feel like I'm gonna be on the edge of my seat. It's gonna be like, oh my god, look at that play, look at that play, look at that play. This is gonna be a highlight field Super Bowl. I just see it. But guys, that's it. That's it, man. There ain't much going on this week. It's the Super Bowl. We gave our predictions. Look, I want to thank you fellas for coming through. I love y'all. We gotta do this again. To everybody that listened. Usually I know you guys don't like it being an hour long, so I kept it short for y'all this week. All right, y'all can just come in, listen, and get on with your day. All right, because this will be uploaded on a Saturday. This is being recorded on a Friday night. So you got the rest of your Saturday or whenever you hear this to go do your thing. Hopefully you heard this before the Super Bowl. But if you like what you heard, be sure to like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Share the content. I want y'all to give a big shout out to my guests. Thank them so much. Round of applause for these gentlemen. All right. Because I was the only white guy on the podcast tonight. But y'all be safe. I'm Apollo. I'm signing out. One love, all glory to God. I'm going to catch y'all guys next time.